We begin today with Formula One as Oracle Red Bull Racing's champion driver explains what it takes to succeed in motorsport's elite category. Max Verstappen has achieved more than most with 4 world titles by the age of 27. We asked the Dutch flyer what it takes to compete and win under the F1 spotlight.
I think first of all, what is very important is talent. You need to have a bit of talent, but also you have to believe in yourself. It's not an easy road. A lot of people will actually try to bring you down. So self-confidence is very important, and you need to work hard for it because nothing comes easy. Personally, I've been always quite lucky, of course, with the right people around me to push me anyway. So I have quite a relaxed mindset. Like, I'm not really stressed out about a lot of things. I wake up, I'm like, we'll see what happens tomorrow. You know, I'm not too worried about it. I know that when I jump in the car, I will do everything I can. And once I get committed to something, I go for it anyway. I know that, so I don't really need to push myself for that. But I had a lot of great advice with the people around me, and especially from my dad's side. From a young age, he knew what it took to get to Formula One and the hard road that it was. And I think that prepared me very well when I was a kid, you know, going around, growing up through go-karting towards Formula One.
Verstappen became the youngest ever F1 driver when he joined the grid in 2015, aged just 17, and over the course of a decade, he's become an ever more formidable competitor.
Well, I think over time, experience, of course, helps a lot. How you handle stuff. In the beginning, probably is more your instinct that takes over a lot. And when you combine all these things together at one point, yeah, I think you become a well-rounded driver. I think that's the beautiful thing about Formula One. You never stop learning. Even in your final season, there are always things that you learn or face. And I think that's very beautiful because you will never be perfect anyway. Of course, over time, maybe you get a bit slower when you get older, but you can combine your experience a bit more with finding a bit more pace in certain areas. Of course, at one point there will be a decline naturally, but every year, yeah, there are always little things that you'll pick up again, or cars change a lot in Formula One. It's not like you drive every time the same car and you have to do the same thing. Every year it might be rule changes that you have to get used to, so there are always things that you learn and pick up on.
Racing on the limit against the world's best drivers isn't easy in a 24-race international calendar, so even for a 4-time world champion, commitment is imperative to produce winning performances.
I think first of all, you need to be happy where you are, in the team, privately as well. And every time that you wake up, if you look in the mirror and you can tell yourself, I'm going to give it another 100%, like full commitment. I think as long as you can do those things and feel happy, I think then that desire is there.
Since 1999, Corvette Racing has racked up 116 wins in IMSA competition. This season, with the Z06 GT3R, the team took to the track with the first ever Corvette built to international GT3 regulations.
A very exciting new era for Corvette Racing, supporting a GT3 customer car program for the first time ever. And while the car may look similar from a distance to a C8R, it's actually an entirely new ground-up race car. So the development of that was focused on being appropriate for a customer car, which means we spent a lot of time developing the car to make it friendly for a wide variety of drivers.
I think the early few races were just quite up and down, to be honest. We had flashes of serious performance at Sebring. I remember the first couple of stints I did at the start of that race, we were just lightning quick, carving through the field. Again, Daytona, some stints were great, some we seemed a bit weaker on absolute pace. But then after that, I'd say the shorter races, we really started to show our pace.
Despite early issues, it took just 5 months for the GT3R to reach victory lane with a 1-2 finish at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park.
Motorsport was quite special, to be honest. We just come off the back of the podium at Watkins. We were fast from the word go. Qualifying went well. My first pole position, I think, in IMSA, which was cool, and things were flowing nicely, you know. Led home the Corvette's first 1-2 finish in GTD Pro, which was, yeah, a pretty special feeling, to be honest.
Right away we felt that we were fast on qualifying. That's something we really nailed this year because we had a ton of pole positions, but when it came to race time, that's where the maturity of the car didn't help much. We encountered a few issues, but we proved that the speed is there. We just had to put together everything to win races.
As the year has gone on, we have, found a little bit more pace in the car here and there as we get to learn the car, find a little bit more speed and a bit more comfort level in the car as well. So yeah, I mean, the team doesn't quit, that's for sure. We keep trying new things, whether it's in the sim or on track, always looking for the next little bit of performance that we can find.
In one of the toughest tests for the new car, Antonio Garcia and Alexander Sims fought through the rain to a hard-won podium finish at Indianapolis.
We had a 6-hour race at Indy. First time driving the car in the wet for me, that was really, really good fun. And then Antonio finished the race and got third. It was in 5th, 4 laps from the end, and it all looked like things were going to finish like that, and then he got 2 positions right in the dying moments, which was really, really exciting.
I think it shows the quality of the overall platform, that where we make our lap time performance is in the grip limited sectors, such as braking and cornering, and I think that speaks volumes to the huge amount of effort that went into the design and development of this new car.
Testing is already underway for 2025 when the Corvettes will be back on the grid campaigning with another 2-car entry in North America's Premier Series.
We've got such a strong program to build on heading into 2025, and we're excited to refresh the championship point sheet with a clean start at the Rolex. Obviously, we've got a competitive package, so we're expecting good results in 2025.
With Stewart-Haas Racing closing its doors, Tony Stewart looks back at the legacy of the team he ran with Gene Haas for 15 years. After the 2-time NASCAR Cup Series champions' risky move in 2009, the first major triumph came at that year's All-Star race.
It was actually the first time that Gene Haas and I were able to meet. And I just remember how excited I was after the race to see him smiling. But something that really caught me off guard at the end of the race was when we were taking all the photos with the team and seeing grown men cry in Victory Lane. And I didn't understand it. And then somebody said, yeah, these guys have never won a race before. And there we are with $1 million check in front of us, winning the All-Star race. So it really put in perspective what the change was about. It wasn't just about me at that point. It was about all these people, and that really set the tone for how I felt about this whole organization moving forward.
Stewart and teammate Ryan Newman quickly established the new team as the plucky underdog. But it was in 2011 that Smoke, winless all season, snuck into the playoffs and then produced a miracle.
We go out and rifle off a win at Chicago, go the next week to Loudon, win again. And none of us were really doing anything any different. It just seemed like it all just finally came together. You just take them one race at a time after that, but then you knock off Texas, you knock off Martinsville before you even go to Homestead, and the next thing you know, you're tied going in.
2002, he was the champion. 2005, he was the champion. This time, he's an owner driver, and he's going to become a 3-time NASCAR Sprint Cup champion. Tony Stewart wins it.
Stewart's third title was the first by an owner-driver since 1992, and the landmarks continued, including signing Danica Patrick, the first female driver to get a full-time Cup Series contract and the first to secure pole in the Daytona 500. But the biggest impact was the arrival of Stewart's friend, Kevin Harvick, in 2014, who took the championship to Stewart-Haas in his first year.
That's what Kevin does. I mean, he's probably the most well-rounded driver. He understands how to put the right people in place as well. And that's something that when we talked about him coming here and when he came and assembled this team, we knew that there was a good possibility that right out of the gate, once all those guys gelled as a unit, the sky was the limit.
Stewart himself retired from Cup Series racing in 2016, but not before one last race win.
Well, I think every year that I ran in NASCAR, I at least won one event. You never know when your last win is going to happen. But to win at Sonoma, and Sonoma's in my top 3 racetracks, that was a huge deal for us. And for me personally, it was our 49th win.
How did Tony Stewart, how did that happen?
I'm a little bit greedy. I wanted that big 5-0. I wanted 50 wins. But there's a ton of drivers in the Cup Series now that would die to have 49 wins in the series. So I'm very grateful. And at least winning that race that year, that kept the streak alive. And for people that truly knew me, I mean, I had to fight hard for that one.
In 2017, SHR won one of the few races that Smoke never achieved as a driver, the Daytona 500 with Kurt Busch at the wheel. And in 2020, Harvick won the regular season championship with an incredible 9 victories. contributing to the more than 100 race wins the organisation achieved in NASCAR's top categories. While Cole Custer produced another championship in the 2023 Xfinity Series, their last Cup Series win came courtesy of Chase Briscoe this September.
The way he won that race at Darlington and the move he made to take the lead and really kind of encompassed what SHR is all about. We don't throw caution to the wind necessarily, but we've taken risk in the past. It's produced wins, it's produced championships, and Chase's win at the Southern 500 and the history of that race and what it means to NASCAR, I think for sure it's a great bookend for us. I think probably one of the biggest things I'm most proud of is we did more with less. We didn't have 500-600 people in our building, but we had the right group of people, and that's what this whole building has been about. It's about taking racers that's their passion, that's their desire, that's all they want to do is win races. And all the banners that you see hanging above the shop floor, that is what this is all about for all of us. And to sit there for the last 15 years and be a part of a big, massive, living, breathing organism that is SHR, it's just so much more than what it meant to me, for me. It wasn't about me anymore, it was about all of us and taking care of each other. And I think the lessons that I've learned in the last 15 years in this building are some of the best 15 years of my life.
Time now to head stateside to meet a team owner with a fresh challenge for 2025. In a new look for the IMSA Sports Car Championship next season, Wayne Taylor Racing have rekindled a long association with Cadillac to run their factory V-Series R prototypes in the Premier category.
I've had a long history with General Motors with all their brands, but probably been longest with the Cadillac brand going back to 2000. And you know, everything happens for a reason. This was just a real perfect time to make this happen. As our contract with Acura was coming to an end, we knew that we had another manufacturer to go to, but not just another manufacturer. This manufacturer is like my family. I've won races in all the different brands, Cadillacs. My kids have won. In fact, the last time Cadillac won the Daytona 24-hour was with my team, with Ricky and Jordan.
In conjunction with the World Endurance Championship team in Europe, WTR will run their traditional number 10 and number 40 plates on the two 5.5-litre prototypes in North America, alongside the number 31 Whelen Engineering car.
The team in Europe will be run by my friend Sam Hignett and David Clark, so that'll be the one program which will do WEC and Le Mans. And then in North America, we have the factory two-car program to compete over here. The 4 permanent drivers will be Ricky, Philip Albuquerque, Jordan Taylor, and Louis Delatraz. And then Whelen have a single factory program here in the United States. So unlike most programs, we have to share information, share data, basically even share drivers.
The Indianapolis-based team won the IMSA title with Cadillac DPIs in 2017 and will need all that experience as they get to grips with GM's latest challenger ahead of the 2025 season opener at Daytona.
We went through a similar situation 4 years ago when we took over the cars from Penske and we came out and won the 24-hour. So my guys have done this before. At least we've got a two-car team working together now. So it's going to be fraught in terms of not only changing cars, you've got to think about fire suits, racing suits, all the parts and trucks and motorhomes and everything have got to all be completely refurbished. The work starts in terms of cars on track at the November IMSA test, and then there'll be continual testing of other components and simulators both here in the US and the UK. But this is the part I really like.
Cadillac Wayne Taylor Racing will take to the grid for the 24-hour Classic in January, aiming to rekindle the glory days of the DPI era and replicate the V-Series R's title success of 2023.
But I'm more excited about this program coming than I have been for the last 20 years. And most people probably will be thinking, when is he going to retire? But I am very excited about this. Everybody's got the same mission statement. Everybody's got the same vision. You win together, you lose together. But I'm extremely excited. And I think Cadillac has been proven is pretty quick. And, you know, I'm sure that once we get in our hands, we'll make it quicker.
23-year-old German Lauren Heinrich crossed the Atlantic this year to join AO Racing Porsche in the IMSA Sports Car Series. And in an impressive debut campaign, he became the youngest ever GTD Pro Class champion.
I knew it was my very first year in North America racing in IMSA, so everything was new, and obviously you think about what's possible and what are your goals, and I said if we can win one race that would be amazing. So obviously starting off in the second place in Daytona, that opened a bit my eyes, and I realized this team, this package has a lot of potential, and I love racing in the States.
The 2022 Carrera Cup Deutschland champion mastered the North American circuits quickly. He claimed victories at Laguna Seca and Detroit before winning at the historic Brickyard at Indianapolis later in the season.
Racing all these beautiful circuits here in the United States, I mean, they are so old school, they are so tough to drive, but if you get them right, it's so rewarding and such a cool feeling as a driver. Winning at Indianapolis, I mean, such a crazy weekend. That must be the best win up to now in my career. I enjoyed it so much. I'm coming from Europe, I mean, we also have great circuits like Spa, Le Mans, the Nürburgring. But in the end, the tracks in the United States have their own character. They're very challenging, very tough. But what helped me a lot is my experience in the simulator. I grew up racing simulator games for ages and competed at a very high level also virtually. So I knew many tracks already from there.
Alongside teammates Seb Prio, Klaus Bachler, Julian Andlar and Michael Christensen, Heinrich's performances have attracted international attention, and his AO Racing Porsche, Rexy, has been sharing the spotlight.
Rexy is just existing for 2 years, but it's already such an iconic Porsche livery. I think everyone wants to drive that car, and for me it's such a huge pleasure. We have plastic palm trees outside of our tent, and everything looks cool and relaxed, but the team behind Rexy is so professional. It's really incredible. I learned so much with this group of people, and we see a lot of young kids liking our car, and I think that's really very important for our sport, to bring the next generation closer to racing. I think that's a really cool part, and I love being a driver of Rexy.
The championship was ultimately decided by just 4 points at Road Atlanta, where the Rexy pilot became only the third rookie driver to become an IMSA champion.
I've been very lucky to go all through these ranks, like winning the German Carrera Cup, competing in Porsche Super Cup at the very front, driving in DTM in my very first year in GT racing, and now in IMSA doing all these big races like 24 Daytona, 12 Sebring and the Motul PT Le Mans. What's next? To be honest, I don't really know yet myself. My long-term goals are obviously competing in the top class of endurance racing. I love IMSA. I come from Europe, so I like competing in both continents. I did my first race as well in Asia this year, so I'm just happy if I'm in the cockpit and I can drive a Porsche.
The 2024 season has been an exhilarating ride as we've travelled the globe to bring the inside stories from across the world of motorsport. We began our year in the Colorado Rockies with some classic ice racing.
The car was dancing like a ballet. I wouldn't say it's easy, but it works.
Ice racing, you have to get sideways to go fast. You have to give it a little bit of throttle to get it sideways so you can get it pointed straight through the ice.
We made our way to Florida for the NHRA's season opener, the Gator Nationals.
TV doesn't do our sport any justice. Funny cars are like the dirtiest, nastiest kind of drag car there is out here.
Team Coletta won in both Funny Car and Top Fuel, the perfect start to the season and a first for the team. Throughout the year, we've met some of the leading women working in motorsport, whether drivers or engineers.
I always knew that I loved racing and I wanted to make a career out of it. I got an internship with Roush Yates Engines and I still can't believe I get paid to do what I do.
Funny enough, I never wanted to be a driver. I've always liked being the person to take all of the different variables all at once. So super challenging as an engineering problem, but it's also what I love.
The focus is around being a good racing driver. It's not about being the first girl, it's not about that, it's about winning the race.
My dream is just to get to Formula 1 and be a good driver, just to make maybe some history and to be a world champion, obviously.
We joined Red Bull KTM at Jerez, where Danny Pedrosa had advice for aspiring riders.
You have to face fear, you have to face risking your life. So the will and the self-belief are the fundamentals.
We caught up with Jenson Button, who was enjoying giving race fans a joyride.
I drove hot laps at Spa and it was fun, really good fun. Basically just trying to scare people. which is very easy to do as a racing driver because people don't know where you're supposed to brake for corners. You see people's feet in the cockpit, always searching for a brake pedal in the passenger seat, which is hilarious.
At Le Mans in June, it was Toyota who came closest to challenging Ferrari.
What a battle this is. He's Hartley round the outside at Multan corner and he spins it. Ferrari are still in the lead.
Toyota condemned to the bridesmaid spot for the second year in a row.
I think we all share a little bit of a bittersweet feeling, especially after such a roller coaster ride.
We join the Thunder from Down Under at Sydney Super Night.
Out of the final corner now, Chaz Mostert for the Mobil 1 Optus Mustang.
Didn't expect that, but something about special liveries lately seem to be giving us quite good results. So I like the Mobil 1 Pegasus gold car. I think we need to try and keep it.
While Max Verstappen wrapped up his fourth consecutive F1 world title with 2 races to spare, in World Rally, a crash for Hyundai's Oyt Tanak in the season finale handed Toyota their 4th straight manufacturer's crown. With a 1-2 finish for Elvin Evans and flying 40-year-old Frenchman Sébastien Ogier.
The day I won't be competitive anymore in rally, I think it will be more than time to stop.
For Porsche and their 963, it was a stellar year too as they scooped the Drivers' Championship in the WEC and then took all the titles at the IMSA season finale.
It's incredible to finally get the job done. Here we are, ready to celebrate this championship. We got it all, so couldn't have gone any better.
That's it for now, but you can follow us on X, Instagram and YouTube at your home of motorsport online. We'll leave you with the stars of the show.
The atmosphere, the teamwork, and I just love all of that.
You have a bit of talent, but also you have to believe in yourself.
It was the best 15 years of my life.